Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here. And today, guys, well, actually, Saturday morning, we got to 20,000 subscribers on the channel, and I cannot thank you guys enough for that. It has been an awesome year of growth for the channel, and you guys have been absolutely amazing. And it's kind of surreal, because when I started this 3 years ago, I did not think I would get to this point this quickly. It's been really crazy, guys, and I really cannot thank you guys enough. I know I say it a lot, but I really do mean it. Had an awesome year for the channel, and we got to 20,000 way before the end, and I cannot thank you guys enough. So, as I said, we will be doing the 20,000 subscriber giveaway, and we will be giving away 3 Tier 9 premium ships. You enter this just like the previous giveaway. You just make sure you're subscribed to the channel, comment your in-game username down below along with your server, and some type of witty comment. And in a week from now, a bot will select 3 winners, and I will reply to you guys' comments and favorite them and everything I can to make sure YouTube sends you a notification, because YouTube is sometimes finicky with that, because YouTube is YouTube. And you guys will have a week to enter. Again, just make sure you're subscribed to the channel, leave your in-game username down below, and your server, and just sit back and wait. So once again, thank you guys so much for the support. I would not still be doing this if it wasn't for you guys. So again, guys, thank you guys so very much for the continued support that you guys give to the channel. I would not be able to do this if it wasn't for you guys. Like I've mentioned before, I'm not part of the CC program or anything. So all the ships, all the blooms that I need to get to reset lines, to grind lines, and all that stuff for like the Research Bureau ships and the Free XP ships, that all comes from the revenue that the channel generates. So you guys watching the videos, watching the live stream, supporting me on Patreon, all you guys make this possible. So again, guys, thank you guys so very much, and make sure you enter the contest, and it will be opened up for a week. So I won't be, the bot will be selecting the winner on next Monday, and I'll be getting in touch with the winners thereafter. So guys, thank you guys so much for the support, and let's go ahead and dive right on into today's video. Alright guys, for today's video we are going to be going over my top 5 destroyer picks. These are my personal top 5 destroyers. I'm not saying these are the best destroyers in the game. I'm saying these are the ones that I certainly play the most and I do the best in. And I'm still relatively new to destroyers. I've been playing a whole lot more of them recently, especially with my hyper grind session to the Kavarosk. But these picks, if you're a newer destroyer player, these might be some that you want to check out for yourself. And most of these are pretty forgiving destroyers if you mess up. A couple of them not so much, but I do genuinely think these are some of the better destroyers in the game for sure. The best, maybe not, but again, it's all my opinion, it's my list, and feel free to disagree with me if you do, because that's fine. If we all agreed, the world would be a very boring place indeed. So anyway, let's go ahead and jump right on in, starting at number 5 with the Tier 8 Premium American Destroyer, the Kid. So the Kid is most definitely one of the more forgiving destroyers on this list. What the Kid is, it is a Fletcher, which is a Tier 9 destroyer, down tier to Tier 8. And it basically takes one of the torpedo tubes off of the Fletcher, replaces it with more AA, and the other set of torpedo tubes, it replaces it with, not Venom torpedoes, God, what's the Tier 8 American destroyer, oh god, Benson torpedoes, yeah, that's the correct one, god, Benson, jeez. Anyway, so it still has the guns from the Fletcher, which are great because the Fletcher has some amazing guns, gets those lovely American 127s, and it gets the American smokescreen too, and DFAA, and a hill on a Tier 8 destroyer. That is very lovely. So it's a Fletcher at Tier 8 with a hill, basically. And that's a pretty good, darn good combination. It's great at, well, fighting other DDs because it is a gunboat. And it does have kind of that floaty American shell arcs that, you know, if you're shooting at anything over about 10 kilometers, your shell's going to take a hot minute to get there. But that's not necessarily the main feature of the Kid. The main feature of the Kid is its AA. It has fantastic AA. Still today, in today's World of Warships with, well, the issues that we have with AA, the Kid is still a destroyer that most carriers will most certainly leave alone. As a matter of fact, it's so good, the whole strategy was designed around using 2 kids and 1 Akazuki to directly counter and hunt down CVs, because with 2 kids working together, God, nothing's going to be able to touch you without losing almost all of its planes. And throw in the hill and the American smokescreen on top of that, along with it being a Fletcher at tier 8, you got a lovely, lovely, lovely little destroyer here, and it is still available to purchase as of the recording of this video. Alright, moving on down now to number 4. We have the tier 5 Soviet destroyer, premium destroyer, the Hawknet. The Hawknet. Yeah, that's how you say it. God, I almost choked saying it the first time. But yes, this destroyer, it's not very competitive, but it's a very fun destroyer. I mean, look at it. It's ridiculous. It's got just, the deck's lined with guns. You've got 5 torpedo tubes, both very short range. The clip you're watching right now, I don't have AFT on this commander just yet, so the guns only have a range of 9.2 kilometers, but you got so friggin' many of them. If anything gets within your range, it's gonna friggin' hurt. And plus, it's still Soviet guns. They still pack one heck of a punch, especially with the AP. And the torpedoes, you got so many of them that if anything enters within your torpedo range, yeah, they're gonna sink really, really fast. It's a fun ship. It's a really fun ship, and it's a tier 5, so it's a tier 5 premium, pretty cheap. I think it's around, what, $15, $20, if that even. It's a fun ship. I recommend you guys pick it up, and it does have a couple of big advantages to it. It does come with a smoke screen, of course, and it sits so low in the waterline and has such little superstructure that most shots will just go right over it from things like battleships and cruisers. I think it's other destroyers, like I mentioned, it's got so many guns that, I mean, if all of your guns hit, which they will because it's a destroyer and, the guns are actually pretty accurate, you're going to wreck the crap out of most destroyers that get within your range. Now, of course, the ship is incredibly long. It turns like, well, a Soviet ship, so it turns like a cruiser, really. Not the most maneuverable ship, but it's a boatload of fun. It gets called the war canoe quite often because of it, and it's a fun ship just to go and derp around in and just have some good old fun down at tier 5. Moving on down now to number 3, we have the tier 8 premium British destroyer, the Kozak. So the Kozak, the mighty Kozak. The Kozak was at one point in time the best destroyer at tier 8, and it is still among the best destroyers at tier 8 now. It's just that the game has changed quite a bit since the Kozak was first introduced into the game, and the Kozak itself has changed a bit too. It got a couple of changes after it got released. The rotation speed on the turrets was greatly increased, and the reload time on the torpedo tube was greatly decreased as well, to now where you have roughly a 60-second reload time on your one set of torpedo tubes. And this is a British ship, so it can single drop torpedoes, and also it's very, very good at, well, being a British destroyer. It's a very good ship to contest the cap in, to kick other DDs out of the cap. You get hydroacoustic search from the ship, you get those lovely British DD guns, and you also get that British DD smokescreen, that very short duration time smoke, which is very useful for disengaging. Not, of course, meant to sit there and, Daka in it like American smoke or Japanese DD smoke, but it's still a very, very powerful ship today. Like in the clip you're watching right here, I managed to kick the enemy Soviet destroyer out of the cap. I think it was the, not the Kiev, but the Minsk, I think? Sorry, no, it was the Ognevor. I managed to kick him out of the cap, which, he's a Soviet DD, doesn't need to be in the cap in the first place, but very maneuverable ship, turns amazingly well, especially after playing all these Soviet destroyers last week. It was kind of refreshing to play a destroyer that turns like a destroyer and not like a cruiser and doesn't drift all over the place. Now, of course, the Kozak is, like many DDs, under the thumb of CDs nowadays, and if it's not a Kid or a Holland or any of the pan-Euro DDs, not a whole lot you can do to fight back against CVs, but if you stick near your cruisers, you stick near your battleships, or at least within running range of them, you will kind of be okay. You'll still get dumped on every now and then, but I mean, there's not much anybody can do about that nowadays. But the Kozak's still a very powerful ship. I do know it's on sale right now for the Black Friday event, and I would, recommend picking it up if you are a destroyer player and you don't have it just yet. Alright, moving on down to number 2, we have the Tier 9 Premium Italian destroyer, the Yolo Emilio, or the Paulo Emilio, I should say. This is a very, very fun ship. I don't have to spend too much time on this. You guys watching should know already that the Yolo Emilio is just a boatload of fun. So what the Yolo Emilio is, it's not really a destroyer as it is a light cruiser, really looking at its size and its hit pool, or its hit points. It's really kind of a light cruiser looking at its size and its hit points, so kind of a small light cruiser or a very, very large destroyer. And the Yolo Emilio is simply a torpedo delivery system. This ship, when its speed boost is activated, is the fastest DD in the game. It also gets exhaust smoke on top of that, to where you are now moving at 57 knots with fuel smoke that keeps up with that speed. And you also have torpedoes that have the damage of the Shimikaze's torpedoes, but the range of Soviet torpedoes. And you get 3 sets of those tubes. So this ship is meant for one purpose, and that is sneaking up on enemy ships, surprising the crap out of them, and throwing torpedoes down their throat from point-blank range. And it is very, very, very good at that. It has SAP, too, on its main battery guns, so it can, for the most part, go toe-to-toe with most other destroyers in a one-on-one fight, and usually come out on top. I'm not a very good DD player, and I win most one-on-one gunfights with the Emilio. There are some instances where you run across some tier 10 DDs that just are better than you, or DD destroyer players that are, of course, better than you, and that's not really hard for me to find those players. But it is hilarious to pull off a successful sneak with the Yolo Emilio and just shove your torpedoes down the throats of other ships. And the thing is, too, a lot of people will comment, how do you counter this? This isn't fair. This ship is extremely easy to counter. You just have to have good situational awareness. And when that happens and you get spotted in the Emilio, you're kind of done, because very much like the Soviet destroyers, it has a very large turning radius, doesn't turn all that fast. It's a big target, doesn't get a hill, and once its consumables are out, it's a fast DD, but it's not hyperspeed anymore. And more than 2 or 3 ships focusing this thing down will, if they won't outright sink it, they will severely cripple its ability to YOLO anymore and fulfill its task, because it's not the best destroyer, because it's so specialized to do its YOLO. It's just, not that great of a upright destroyer, but again, a boatload of fun, and it is one of the 3 Research Bureau ships that I do say is worth regrinding lines for, because of how fun this thing is. And those of you that are watching the stream have seen what happens and know how much I enjoy playing this ship. Alright, moving on down now to our number 1. It is a tier 10 Soviet destroyer, the Kavarosk. Yes, the Kavarosk, the ship that has been, it's been nerfed a lot since I first started playing. I'm kind of sad that I'm getting this version of it and not the original full-on Kavarosk. But I do like this ship a lot. If you guys don't know, I did do another hypergrind session to see how fast I could grind to tier 10 using special signal flags, special camos, and all that. And I wanted to challenge myself, so I played through the Soviet destroyer line. And wow, I was really surprised with, first off, how fun from tier 8 and up the Soviet cruiser line is, destroyer line is, and second, how good the Kavarosk still is, and how, not often, but how unoften I run across them in game, because the ship is still very, very good. Now, part of the Kavarosk being not so good anymore is that the Kleber, the tier 10 French DD, pretty much does what the Kavarosk does, but better. But after playing the Kavarosk and playing the Kleber again, I actually prefer playing the Kavarosk, which is strange. And I know a lot of you are thinking, well, you're freaking crazy. And I was like, yeah, okay, but I like playing it better. I don't know. It's just maybe because I just grinded through the Soviet DD line recently, and I'm used to playing it. Even though the French DD line, I have gone up that, and I do have the Kleber. I don't know. I just prefer the Kavarosk right now. Maybe it's the memes of the Kavarosk or just the heal. I do like the heal, but with the French DDs, with their special damage saturation model, they pretty much take 50% less damage overall because of their special damage saturation model. But I don't know, I'm just enjoying the Kavarosk right now. And it's a really fun ship to play. It's really rewarding to play when you get into the right position, you flank the enemy team, and you get raining down on them with your HE or with your Soviet DDAP, which is absolutely friggin' amazing too. And it's just a boatload of fun to run around and just shoot at everything and not really care if you're being spotted because you're in the Kavarosk, and when you got your speed boost going and your flags on, like, what's going to hit you when you're going that fast? Well, I'll tell you what's going to hit you first off, the CV, because you can't outrun the CV planes, which that's kind of upsetting. And of course with the Soviet cruisers like the Petropavlovsk with their insane velocity in their guns, those guys can hit you pretty well. But it's rewarding to play if you're good at dodging and good at setting up crossfires and stuff, and being kind of sneaky in the first half of the match and getting into position and then beginning your reign of terror. It's a fun ship to play, and sure, the Kleber could go here too. But I just want to give it to the Kavarosk. I've been having a lot of fun in it. And if you want to argue that the Kleber is better than the Kavarosk, like I said, you can put it here too. I would call it a tie between the two ships, but me personally, I just prefer the Kavarosk right now. And again, it's my list, so I get to choose the number one. Alright guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure to enter into the giveaway for one of the 3 premium shows being given away here in the next week. Again, guys, thank you guys so much for getting us to 20,000 subscribers. It has been, again, an amazing year, and I cannot thank you guys enough for that. You guys are absolutely awesome. And here we are at 20,000, and now looking forward to 25,000. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Monday. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.